going on, San Antonio Spurs Nation? I'm Rob Trejo Jr. This is Spurs Tube TV, and this is your San Antonio Spurs Weekly Update. On deck for today, we're talking about the Spurs wanting some away home games. What does that mean? We're going to talk about it. Jabari Young thinks he knows who should be the Spurs' next head coach to succeed Coach Popovich. We'll get into that one. And then the Spurs are conducting some pre-draft workouts already. We'll talk about who they've met with. Shout out Coach Becky Hammond, head coach of the Las Vegas Aces. Becky Hammond, congratulations on your first win, coach. Keep going. All this and more coming up on Spurs Tube TV. All right, so the Spurs have asked for some away home games. This has got a lot of Spurs fans pretty riled. Spurs seek to play home games away from AT&T Center in 22-23. These are snippets from the article from Jeff Garcia from the Kent's 5 Spurs Zone. So what you need to know is that the Spurs got just enough approval from Bexar County commissioners to play some of their home games abroad next year, including games in Mexico City, Austin, Monterrey, Mexico, and the Alamodome. County commissioners voted 3-2 to give a preliminary approval for the Spurs to play 4 home games outside of the AT&T Center in the 22-23 season. Initially, the team asked to play games away from home for 2 years, but County Commissioner Justin Rodriguez, who we're going to hear from in a little bit in this article, countered with a 1-year deal, which the Spurs representatives agreed to. The vote outcome did cause a stir among Spurs fans and the city, with many feeling uneasy about the Spurs' future in San Antonio. To clear the air, Rodriguez spoke with San Antonio Spurs stars The Blitz with Jason Minix and Joe Rangel about today's outcome and what it means. The way the Spurs painted it is to expand their fan base, Rodriguez said. They want to be able to sell potentially to their Mexican fan base in Mexico City, in Monterrey, as well as their fan base up the road in I-35 in Austin. In addition, he went on to say that the Spurs have reinforced that they are committed to San Antonio. We also receive a full throttled commitment from the Spurs that they are planning to stay here, that this is part of being successful in San Antonio and expanding that fan base, bringing in some different investors in terms of season ticket holders, Rodriguez said. All of these things point to, from my perspective, backing up what their commitment is, Rodriguez said. That is, San Antonio is their home. The Spurs have been in San Antonio for 50 years and hope to be there for another 50 years. There's a lot to unpack here, but ultimately, should Spurs fans be worried? Absolutely not. This is going to reinforce the San Antonio fan base. If you don't know, San Antonio has a huge Hispanic population, and South Texas is booming with Spurs fans, and Mexico City is not a stranger to NBA games already at this point. So the Spurs would like to expand that market. Ultimately, it's about strengthening that community and that fan base that we have in South Texas. But most fans in South Texas and in Mexico are Spurs fans when it comes to NBA basketball. And it would be awesome to reward Austin fans that go and support the G League team with a real NBA game that has stakes to it, that has the NBA players there. It'd be awesome. Nothing but good things. Don't worry, Spurs Nation. I don't think San Antonio is going anywhere. This actually does help keep San Antonio here. People on top in Spurs basketball are saying, hey, man, we got to go and get some season ticket investors from Austin and from Mexico to come and buy season tickets here. Let's keep it moving. Jabari Young tweeted out the other day that he has a thought on who should be the San Antonio Spurs' next head coach. He tweeted, personally, I think Jay Wright would thrive with the Spurs. Team is poised to make the playoffs next season. Okay. And if Pop stays one more year, he can get them ready. Jay takes a year off, then steps in. If Spurs somehow add Bradley Beal and pair him with Murray, just my thoughts. All right, so you're probably wondering, who's Jay Wright? If you're not a avid college basketball watcher, you don't know who Jay Wright is probably, but you may have seen him around. He's Villanova's head coach, or was. He was there for 21 seasons. He has 520 wins, 2 national championships, 4 Final Four appearances, 16 NCAA tournament appearances, and 6 Big East championships. Now, why the Spurs? Well, he spent a lot of time over the past 3 or 4 years with Coach Pop and the staff at USA Basketball, and there's a relationship there. And something that you might want to know is just that, and in my opinion, Jay Wright is an excellent basketball coach, character supreme. The reason why he retired is interesting. I read this in a New York Times post that he said that he just feels that he can't bring it enough every day right now, because I don't know, maybe it's personal reasons or something, where he feels he can't give all that he feels the team deserves and the program deserves from him, and that's why he's stepping away. And I don't think he's leaving Villanova. He's extremely loyal. He says he wants to be there and continue to stay there with the university, and but just step down as head basketball coach. Maybe there's another role for him there with the athletic department. That type of selfless act to put the team and the program before yourself, that just screams San Antonio Spurs basketball. So Jabari Young kind of has something to the point here that it might be actually a great fit, and because they're already connected on Team USA, if it's not going to be one of Pop's previous predecessors like Coach James Borrego, who just got let go of Charlotte, Jay Wright is actually considering moving up to the NBA. It actually is a pretty good fit. I wouldn't mind it. I would like to see it. He's a hell of a basketball coach. Okay, so the Spurs are starting to host some pre-draft workouts. Let's take a look at who has been reportedly worked out for the San Antonio Spurs. Noah Magaro-George reports that Spurs have conducted a pre-draft workout with Darius Days and Keon Ellis, and with Michael DeVoe. So what we're going to do is we're going to look a little bit into their college statistics and kind of what they're all about. But before we do that, something that we can just note right now is that they're all seniors. And that tells you one thing, that if these guys are working out for the Spurs right now, I would go ahead and think that either they're looking at them as second round picks or as possible undrafted players who they want to bring maybe into their Austin G League system and maybe develop them if they go undrafted. Keep an eye out for that in the future. All right, so Darius Days is a 6'7", 245-pound senior from LSU. He was a forward who averaged 13 points, 7 rebounds, shot 43% from the field. Keon Ellis is a guard, 6'6", 175, averaged 12.6 rebounds, 1 assist for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Little connection there with Joshua Primo. Also, Michael DeVoe is another guard, 6'5", 191, out of Georgia Tech, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 46%. If you're just looking at the statistics, I mean, maybe you rank these guys, Darius Days, Michael DeVoe, Keon Ellis, at least from statistical standpoints. I'm pretty sure maybe there's more that you can find on these guys if you go and look into them. But one thing's for sure, it's draft time, baby. The pre-draft workouts have begun. In case you didn't know, we're opening up the channel to Spurs Nation. Go ahead and check out the Patreon. If you want a guest show on this channel, if you want to drop videos, video questions, audio questions, comments, that get turned into segments on podcast or YouTube videos or things like that. If you want to be involved on that level with the channel, great news. The Patreon is now offering that to Patreon members. Go to patreon.com/SpursTubeTV. Can't wait to get that up and running going into next season. Trying to elevate Spurs Nation here a little bit. And that is your San Antonio Spurs Weekly Update. I'm Rob Trejo Jr. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit the notification bell so you get notified when we drop new content on the channel. And if you want to check out some San Antonio Spurs breakdowns, check out this playlist that I have for you right here. On the next time, I'm Rob Trejo Jr. This is the Spurs Weekly Update on SpursTube TV.